Has Christmas came early for UK consumers, or should warning signs be signalled for the economy? With me down the line to discuss is Philip Shaw. Philip, oil markets have sparked concern worldwide, but have also helped push the UK's rate of inflation down to a 12-year low, official statistics showed. Now, some believe this is cause for celebration, while others fear it could slow the UK economy. Which side of the fence do you sit on?
Well, under the current economic environment, a big fall in energy prices can be a two-edged sword. Certainly from the perspective of the UK, I'd tend to say that lower oil and other energy prices are a positive thing for growth. Now, the risk would be, if you were concerned about deflation, that a sudden drop in oil prices would tend to reinforce the fact that prices are falling, and it might reinforce expectations that inflation would remain negative. Now, that would be a potentially dangerous situation, but it's not one that really applies in the UK.
We had the release of the MPC minutes, which showed an increasing importance being put on wage growth. Now, this trend in itself may not come as a matter of surprise, but is the fact it's been reinforced in the minutes the biggest takeaway from the meeting?
Well, the MPC minutes really emphasised wage growth once again, and it's something that came out in last month's meeting. The MPC members had begun to note that pay growth was beginning to strengthen. And sure, if you look at the current level of wage growth at just around the 1.5% level, it's not particularly high. But there is quite an ingrained trend there, which is being supported by external surveys of pay as well, which are saying that wage growth is firming. So yes, it is something, again, it's positive for the recovery, and MPC members are watching it from the perspective of needing to tighten policy at some stage. Now, we're not there yet, but it may well be the case that by next summer that we've seen pay growth firm to an extent that the MPC feels that it's appropriate to start raising rates.
Despite the data, sterling US dollar maintained bullish momentum. Tonight we have the FOMC meeting where market players hope for clarity on US rates. What do you make of the suggestion that whenever the Fed hikes, it will now be too late? And what impact do you think it will have on the cable?
I think with respect to the monetary policy outlook, inflation's low, the rate of unemployment, whilst it's been falling, is still relatively high, and there are no signs of latent inflation pressures in the US economy. So I think it's actually wrong to suggest that the Fed has left it too late. The question, to my mind, is really whether we see developments over the next 6 months being consistent with the Fed beginning to raise rates, and our view is that the momentum of the US economy will probably result in the FOMC beginning to lift the Fed funds target range towards the middle of next year. The announcement that the FOMC makes may be consistent with that in terms of the evolution of the language which it uses in its statement, but I think that the FOMC is probably on track for a soft landing in the economy as far as our forecast suggests. Now, I think on the exchange rate, very difficult. We're seeing quite a few factors influence cable and indeed the major currencies generally. The relevant factors include not just the US monetary policy and UK monetary policy, but what's going on in Russia, what's going on in Greece, and of course developments which might lead to the ECB doing QE. So with regard to conditions over virtually the last couple of weeks before the end of the year, then it's very difficult to say, but in general, dollar bulls over the medium term, and we wouldn't be surprised to see cable go below 150 at some point in 2015.
Philip, thank you for your time. Well, viewers, Alex Isat will be back tomorrow with all the market reaction from the Fed meeting, so please do keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV for that. Goodbye for now.